Rambam today. As you know, every day we do the 3 chapters of Rambam, and then we'll do Kaddish and Ma'ariv. The Rambam says that any woman that gives birth, just the fact that she gives birth, even if she doesn't see any blood or anything, she's considered Tmeya, impure, because the Torah says, Isha that gives birth, if it's a boy or girl, it's an impurity. Even if the child that she gives birth is a still child, still is not alive, or a miscarriage, also makes you impure. However, the only miscarriage that makes you impure is a miscarriage that took place after 40 days of the pregnancy. Because any child that's born before 40 days of development is not considered a child to begin with. Now, here's an interesting halacha. I know a few families that their first child was a boy, and they wanted to do a pidyon haben. However, they had a few miscarriages before. Can they do a pidyon haben or not? That was the question.
Before or after 40 days.
So the rabbi said an interesting thing. The Rambam says here that any fetus that's not 40 days is not considered a fetus. That means the fetus had to be developing for 40 days. A lot of times when someone has a miscarriage, the fetus already stopped developing a few weeks before, but they first find out about it 2-3 weeks later, because they see there's no growth, they see different signs of things, and then when the doctor looks, he says, hey, this looks like a fetus of only 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, even though you're already 2 months. The doctor says it stopped growing already a few weeks. So since it stopped growing before 40 days was up, it's not considered a fetus. And therefore they could have, the next child is considered a regular child and have a pidyon haben. I went to 2 pidyon habens recently of such cases. The mother had a few miscarriages, but all were before the fetus reached 40 days of development, even though they found out about it 2 or 3 weeks later. So then the next child is considered a firstborn child. However, the Rambam does end off an interesting halacha that if you give birth not naturally, but a C-section, meaning that the baby didn't come out from the womb, or they took it out from the stomach, then there's no impurity at all. Because the Torah says impurity is only if the birth is through the natural way. But if the birth is through C-section, it's not considered impurity, and therefore the mother is 100% pure if there's no blood, which that's almost impossible.
Even if she had miscarriage?
No. C-section.
Even if she had miscarriage before?
No, it's about impurity.
Right.
Every time you give birth, it's an impurity of the birth. So if you give birth not through a natural way of giving birth, but through a C-section, the Rambam says it's not considered a natural way of birth, and therefore you're not considered giving birth naturally, and the mother is not impure. As long as you go to miscarriage, every time you give birth, as long as the miscarriage is a firstborn.
If you're going through a natural birth, and God forbid the baby starts to breach, and the doctor has to assist, is that still considered?
If the head didn't come out,
I'm saying if the head did start to come out, but, well, no, then it can't breach.
no, it has to have the whole head out.
Okay.
Only a finger or this came out, it's not considered born. Rabbi